Brian, if you'd state your name and address for the record, that would be great.
My name is Brian Frisbee. Address is 1060 Ortega Way, Placentia, 92870. And I'd like to thank you all for taking the time this evening to listen to our concerns. Really, I'm here to talk about the bridge and the size and scope of the bridge. It's big. You know, we asked him the question about the width, 50 feet, but the height, clearance underneath it is over, it's at about 15 feet at the bottom, but then going to the top railing of that bridge, it's nearly 30 feet. So it's close to 14 feet thick. So it's rather ominous. That's for the top of that railing would include the landscaping that is planted along the sides of the bridge that potentially could grow as high as the fence. And they reference the bridge that was in that ride as a similar design, and drove past that the other day, and all the landscaping on that was all the way up to the top of that fence on the side. So you're looking at about a 14-foot thick obstacle along the street, as well as they reference the encroachment of 8 feet coming into the landscape setback. And I think we're all aware back in the late 90s, the city went to great lengths to create a pedestrian-friendly approach up and down Harbor Boulevard, of which they bought property from all the businesses, put in all the monument signs, creating kind of a straight line where the businesses and the signs are. Now this project, they're coming into that area by 8 feet, which I think would be a further hindrance to viewing the businesses up and down Harbor Boulevard. And just to add on, you were asking about the East Esplanade and security at the pedestrian crosswalk. You know, the city says they have no plans to remove the crosswalk, which is good, but what's going to happen with the gate? And we haven't been able to get a firm feeling from Disney as to what they're going to do with that space. There's no commitment that they're going to maintain that gate, so we have concern that not too far down the road, the project moves along, that gate can end up going away, which would greatly hurt our businesses along Harbor Boulevard. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sharon Frisbee McDonald, there must be a relation. Again, your name and address. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us. My name is Sharon Frisbee McDonald. I am Brian, who just spoke, sister. We are all partners in the McDonald's restaurant down here on Harbor Boulevard. My last name is MacDonald, M-A-C. So it's just because that's what I mean. So it's purely a coincidence. As Brian spoke, we have a lot of concerns about this project and the accessibility to our customers and the guests in the area getting back and forth to the park. And we have been told that that crosswalk will stay. That's great. I like hearing that. But our concern is eventually it will be a crosswalk to nowhere, because we haven't had, what we've been told is, yeah, they're keeping that gate and the security over there for now. There's always that is added at the end of that sentence, for now. So eventually down the road, our concerns, it could be a crosswalk to nowhere. The other thing that's a concern is the accessibility of the guests in the area who are staying in the area along that portion of harbor in all the different hotels. A lot of families come to Disneyland. Not everybody can afford the Grand California or the Disneyland Hotel. A lot of them come here, save a lot of money, and they stay in this area. Having the ability to go back and forth from the park with your children, they need a couple hours rest, go back into the park, come back, maybe grab some lunch, go back into the park. With what is designed today, the ability to do that becomes almost impossible. It's the choice of going back and forth will be taken away. So that is one of my biggest concerns. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jonathan Pink. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello.
Name and address for the record.
Sure, Jonathan Pink. I'm at 18812 Via Palatino Inn. Don't hold it against me. Or mine. So,
Hard.
you do what you have to do. I appreciate you taking the time to hear from us all this evening. I'm an attorney. I represent some of the property owners along Harbor Boulevard. And I want to address two issues during my 3 minutes. One is something that you're going to hear a lot about tonight, which is the access issue that Frisbee's just addressed. And the other is what I think is the need for a new EIR. So on the access issue, again, I'm going to repeat what Sharon just said to some extent. This is really the core of the issue presented by this bridge. There's a fear that the harbor gate access into Disneyland is going to disappear. Disney will not commit to leaving a gate there in the same or essentially the same position. We can work it out so it doesn't have to be precisely where it is. It needs to be somewhere near there for exactly the reasons that you've heard already. This ability to go back and forth by the guests and to access the businesses so that people can eat at those businesses as well. If we have that, we don't need access to a bridge, quite simply. If we don't have Disney's commitment by way of a conditional use permit for the building of the bridge or otherwise, to have that gate remain open, then we need access, ready access, onto that bridge from Harbor Boulevard, north and south. That doesn't mean hiking all the way down to Disney Way, all the way back along the easement, all the way back, effectively to the Tropicana and over the bridge. That's not what that means. Disney has made a couple of proposals, and let's face it, when it comes to design, few entities can top what Disney can do, and I know they can do what we're asking them to do. I know they can do better. And what does that mean? That means access from Harbor Boulevard, as one of the councilmen said, planning commissioner said, that could be a more narrow bridge. We think that's doable. That needs to be done. We either need access to the bridge. What Disney's proposed is basically going over unavailable private land. That's not going to work. The punch-throughs may work for one or two entities, but it doesn't solve the problem. What is the problem? Disney's taken a public right-of-way over Harbor Boulevard. In exchange, Disney has to give something back to the public, to the community as a whole. That's either access to the bridge or a commitment to leaving the gate open. That's point number one. Point number two is the EIR. The EIR was created, as we've been told, in 1993, amended in 1996. There was a major reality shift that happened 5 years later on September 11th. By Disney's own admission, the world is a different place now. I totally agree. EIRs can be revisited when there has been a substantial change. By
Just wrap it
Disney's
up,
own
sir.
admission, I'm sorry.
Your 3 minutes. I hate to do it to you, but
Okay.
you can wrap it up and be great.
So there's that substantial change. That substantial change requires a new EIR, which takes into account the economic effect, the security threat, and as well as the noise that would be created for the businesses behind there. So a new EIR is required. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Pink.